Hello children, after a long time you are going to have a video session with me. So today I'm planning to discuss a past paper. So this is October 2019 monthly test past paper, as you will be having your monthly test next week. That you will be having around 10 days for the monthly test. So then I will be discussing 2019 paper first. So then I'm planning to discuss 2020 and 2021 too. Right. Let's say that you have not done this paper. So before watching this video, children, it's better to do the paper, right? You can download the paper from the Lyceum past paper link and download the paper, and first you do it. Let's say you have done it, so that's great. So you can watch the video while marking your answers, right? At least you can do here that for the part one, yes, part one, question number one, we have 10 sub questions, right? So at least you can first try these 10 sub questions, then later you can watch the video and mark your answers. And while you're marking the answers, that you feel that, yes, my answer is correct, but I'm not sure about the theory, then again, you can pause the video, take your theory book and the textbook, go through the theory content and try to understand it. Let's say that you have done the question and you have not got the correct answer. So then again, pause the video, try to understand how teacher has taken the answer. So likewise, this should be a learning session. So don't just look at the look at the screen, or don't just watch the video and you don't want to that mark it that yeah, I got the answer. It's let's say 5.3 that I got that answer. That's great. No, that you want to learn something out of this, right? Okay, so without wasting our time, we'll move to this session. So first of all, when you get the paper, so you want to read the instructions. You may think that why I should read the instructions, because always they give the same set of instructions. No, don't think like that. So though you get the same set of the same format, always keep this in your mind, children. Read all the instructions. And you should have an idea about the marks allocation. Here they have given 95% of the paper that will be for the answers, and the 5%, remaining 5% will be for your handwriting. So this doesn't mean that handwriting, that it includes the neatness of the paper and how you have organized your answers, that everything will be included. So then the instructions to candidate, you want to answer all the questions and record your answer in the spaces provided in this paper for part one. And for part two, you want to use line papers to write your answers, right? So then let's get started. Part one, question number one, right? So then here I suggest you, especially part one, question number one, children, I suggest you to do something, that is to have a working column, right? So then you can clearly show your workings, right? So you can have a working column like this, okay? Right, done. So then you check here that the horizontally they have written these two decimal numbers. Then you want to find the value and you want to add the decimal values. What you should do, children? So you want to write this vertically, 4.02, right? Then the other number is 4.43, right? You want to add these two numbers. When you're adding, that's what you want to do. So before adding, you want to write them in vertically, and you want to keep in your mind about the place values, right? You want to write them at the correct place value. So then 3 plus 2, it is 5. Then 4 plus 0, it is 4. Then 4 plus 4, it is 8. The answer is 8.45, right? So then what you should do, you come here and put the equation mark and write the answer 8.45, right? Always write your answers neatly. And the second one, look at that. What's the specialty you have? You can see in question number 2, that here we have two fractions, and that what is the specialty we can see in these two fractions, children? We have the same denominator. So then when we have the same denominator, can you remember what we should do, right? So then nothing to worry about the denominator value. So the same denominator, what we do if we have the same denominator? So we just add the numerators as it is, right? 1 plus 2, then it will be 3. Again, you see that how I'm writing the equation mark. So then 1 plus 2, it is 3. Then my answer will be 3 over 7. Now, can you see, children, in the working column, when I'm doing my other workings, so then I put the question numbers. Why is that? What's the reason to write the question number? That when you are doing the workings, do I need to write the question number? Yes. Why is that? So then the person who is marking your paper, there will be a reference, right? So, okay, that he has done this, that how that the child has got 3 over 7. So this is how he has got it. That this is these are the steps she or he has followed. So it gives us an indication to that it is kind of a cross reference. Then we'll move to question number 3. We have a decimal value and we want to write it as a fraction, right? Now, what you should do this here, question number 3, that 1.23 that you have what? So then first you have 1 and then you have 0.23, right? How can you write 0.23 as a fraction, children? So you have two decimal places. It is 23 over 100, right? It is 23 over 100. But I have here 1. What should I do now? So when you are writing this as a fraction, what will be the answer? Then sometimes most of you may be writing this like this. 123 over 100. Yes, question instruction is to write as a fraction, right? So then you can write it as it is, that 123 over 100. Or else you can write it as a mixed fraction like this. Right. That if you are not sure about the marking scheme answer, that whether I'm going to get the full marks for 123 over 100 and whether I want to convert this into a mixed fraction. So you can write both, but they have asked us to write the answer as a fraction, right? So then the next one, what we need to do, question number 4, they have given us standard form. So then we want to convert this into ordinary form. So then, first of all, you want to understand 10 to the power 2. What does this mean? 10 to the power 2 means 10 multiplied by 10, right? You know that you have learned the indices when you were in grade 7, right? 10 to the power 2, 10 is the base value, 2 is the index, then this index tells us how many times we need to multiply the base value 10, right? As we have the index 2, that I want to multiply the base value 10 2 times. 10 times 10, it is 100. Now what I have a decimal number, right? 7.15. Then I want to multiply this by 100. From where I got this 100? 10 to the power 2. I wrote it as 100, right? So then you gain that this is grade 6 knowledge. Can you remember? When you were in grade 6, we learned how to multiply a decimal number by 10, 100, and 1000. What will happen? So what will be the answer? You can write the answer 715.0. Then you can write the answer 715. I know that when I'm writing the answer like this, most of you may be thinking that do we need to write all these steps, right? So this is part 1, question number 1. Do I need to write all these things? No, but we want to show something. What it is, the steps we follow to get the final answer. Now the decimal point, earlier it was in between 7 and 1. Now it has that it is in another place. What happened? that you know that when we are multiplying by 10, 100 and 1000, what will happen to the digit value, right? So that it changes the places, right? So they are moving from one place to another place when we are multiplying 10, 100 and 1000. We have learned all these things when you were in grade 6. So then it is 750. So then the next one, it is a very popular one, children. Normally when we are converting a fraction into decimal, right? So then you can divide and get the decimal answer. But if you get these kind of decimal, the fractions, let's say 1/4, right? 1/2. So then 3/4. These are popular fractions where we know that how to write these fractions as a decimal, right? As decimals. So then you don't want to worry about the workings here. So then straight away you can write this as 0.25 because you know that the quarter 1/4, you can write it as 0.25. Then the other one, the LCM, right? So I have told you that earlier with my earlier lessons also, when you are calculating the LCM. By the way, children, what do you mean by LCM? Lowest common multiple, right? So they have given three numbers, 2, 3, 7, and you want to find the LCM. Then the different teachers, they may have taught you the different methods, right? So here that I'm using that this method 2, 3, 7, and I'm dividing these three numbers, right? So when I'm by the prime numbers. So what are prime numbers, children? So tell me, what are prime numbers? The numbers which can be only divisible by 1 and itself. So can you tell me the examples? Yeah, so it is 2, 3, then 5, 7, 11, 13, and I put comma and 3 dots. Why I wrote it like that? To show that it's going on, right? That the comma and the 3 dots, it tells me that it's going on, that I have many more members in this list, right? So then 1 is not a prime number. We have learned all these things when you were in grade 6, right? So 1 is not a prime number. And can you see, when you look at the list, can you see a speciality? Can you guess what it is? That the 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, then 17. That when you look at the list, what you can understand, 2 is the only even number in this list, right? 2 is the only even number we consider as a prime number. 1 is not a prime number. So then what I'm doing, children? So I divide all these three numbers, right, by a prime number. When I'm selecting by which prime number I'm going to divide this, I should get the lowest possible prime number. Now, lowest possible prime number, that is, if I take 2, that you know that only number 2 will be divided by 2, and 3 and 7 are not the divided. So then it doesn't matter. Out of the numbers they have given, children, if we can divide at least one number, we take, then 2 divided by 2, it is 1. Then what will happen to 3 and 7? It is not divided. So then what should I do? I just write 3 and 7. Right? So then I move to the next number. So then the next one I'm going to take, it should be 3, the next prime number. It is 3 because that now no point of taking 2. 1, 3, 7, that all of them are not divided by 2. So then no point of taking 2. Then I think about the next prime number. So then it tells me that it's better to take 3 because there is one member in the list which will be divided by 3. So then 1, it's done. You don't want to worry. Then 3 divided by 3, it is 1. And 7, you cannot divide. Therefore, you write 7 as it is. Now you want to divide the remaining one. So then what is the next member we had? Who is the next member we had in the list? 2, 3, 5. So then, yes, according to the list, I want to get 5. But here, I cannot divide 7 by 5. So then what should I do, children? I want to get that. I want to skip 5. Then I move to the next prime number, that is 7. So then I write it. So then 1, 1, 1. When I get this format 1, 1, 1, now it's done. So then how do you find LCM? That you multiply these numbers 2 times, 3 times 7. 2 times 3, it is 6. 6 times 7, it is 42. Right? Okay. So the next one, I will show you the workings here. 3 to the power 0. Children, 3 to the power 0, 2 to the power 0, 5 to the power 0, x to the power 0, m to the power 0, p to the power 0. Any base value to the power 0. Index is 0. But you have the different base values. But always that index is same, then what will be the value? 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now, what is the point? We can keep this in our mind with this discussion that whatever the base value, if the index is 0, answer will be equal to 1, right? So then how can I write this? 3 to the power 0, 3 is the base value, but the index is 0, right? Then how can I write it? It's like this. 3 to the power 0, it is 1. 1 plus 3, the answer is 4. Right? Now, if you don't have enough space in this, yes, I don't have enough space here. Now, what can I do? I can have my working column like this, right? Then I write question number 8 here. So then it's a subtraction. Again, you want to do the same thing, 3.28. In 1.14, and you want to do the subtraction. 8 minus 4, 4, 2 minus 1, 1, 3 minus 1, 2. Right, so you just double check. 4 plus 4, 8, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3. So then the answer will be 2.14. Right, the same thing. See what I'm doing with the children. It's like this. What I'm doing. I'm segregating, right, the workings. So then it's clear. Okay, right. By the way, don't use the pink or the red pen in the exam. So then for your easy reference, I'm doing this. Okay, so you want to write them in blue or black pen. It's better to use the blue pen always, right? Okay, then question number 9. What we want to do again, you have the same denominator, 8. So then what you do, that you subtract the numerator values. So then 7 minus 4, it is 3 and 3 over 8. Okay. So then the next one, you want to find the bigger. That here that you don't want to draw the number line and find it. But for your reference, I will draw a number line and I will show you something. Now here in the middle we have 0. Then to this side we do have the positive numbers. To this side we do have the negative numbers. And keep this in your mind, children. When you are drawing the number line, you always that the gaps, that all these gaps should be in the same way. That here I didn't use a rule, I just drew it. So then don't think about the gaps here. 1, 2, 3, then -1, -2, -3. Now tell me, the values are increasing to this side, right? Value is increasing to the right side. Value increasing. Okay. Value increasing to this side. So then what will happen? That you know that it's obvious that 2 is bigger than 1, right? It's obvious. But if you think that -2 and -1, now which one will be bigger, right? You just look at the number line and tell me that 2 and 1, we know that 2 is bigger, right? So then when you are thinking about a positive number, the number which is that going away from 0 will be the bigger number. When you're thinking about the negative numbers, the number, the digit which is closer to 0 will be bigger. Now, when you take -2 and -1 children, so which will be closer to 0, -1, so then this will be 0, right? So then when you take 1 and 0, 1 is bigger. -1 and 0, 0 is bigger. Hope it is clear, right? So then if you take these two numbers, the 2 and -2, you just see, so 2 is here and -2 is here. Now you know that value is increasing to the right side, therefore 2 should be bigger. Based on that knowledge, now you tell me which one is bigger, -5 or +5? It's obvious, +5 is bigger, right? Hope all of you understood what I was discussing here. So quickly, I will summarize what I discussed here. The most important thing here, you want to read the instructions. So then when you are moving to part 1, question number 1, always that you get this kind of format, the first page. So if you have enough space like these children, I suggest you to have a working column like this, right? Then you can nicely segregate the workings with the question numbers. So then it is clear that when the person who is marking your paper, if there is a doubt, so then he or she can, your teacher can refer the working column and see what has happened. What's the mistake you have done, right? So then first question, it's about the decimal, addition of decimals. And they have given it in the horizontal way, that as a line. And to add what you want to do, children, you want to write them vertically. And when you are writing them vertically, the most important thing, you should keep the digits at the correct place, right? So then when you add 3 plus 2, 5, 4 plus 0, 4, and 4 plus 4, 8, the answer should be 8.45. And I transfer the answer here, that put the equation mark and write the answer. And question number 2 and question number 9. So we have the same, the theory that you have the fraction addition and fraction subtraction when you are having the same denominator. In question number 2, you have same denominator 7, and question number 9, you have again the same denominator 8. Then what you should do, that you first, second question, you add the numerator values 1 plus 2, and in the question number 9, you subtract the numerator values 7 minus 4. So then question number 8, children, again, it is similar to question number 1. Decimal subtraction, they have given it as a line. So then what you want to do, you go to the working column and write them vertically and do the subtraction like you are doing it with the whole numbers. But again, when you are writing them in the vertical format, it's important and critical to write them at the correct place. So then question number 3, that decimal into fraction, right? So that's the conversion you should do. That 1.23, I segregated it, 1 and 0.23. How do you write 0.23 as a fraction, children? 23 over 100, right? So then as you have that one whole number, then you can write this as a mixed fraction. But the question, it's a doubt whether you want to keep this as a fraction or a mixed fraction. So then if you are not sure about it, you can write both answers. But here they have asked us to write it as a fraction, 123 over 100. So the next number, they have given a number in standard form, and you want to write, convert this into ordinary format. So then what you should do, then 10 to the power 2, you want to understand the meaning of that. 10 to the power 2, it is 10 times 10, right? It is not 10 times 2, right? So this 10 to the power 2, that doesn't mean 10 times 2. That is wrong, right? So that is 10 times 10. So then it is 100, and we have learned how to multiply a decimal number by 10, 100, and 1000. Then you get 715.0. Then the final answer is 715. That I know that the obvious question, teacher, do we need to do all these steps? Is it required? And if I have not done, whether my answer is wrong? No, I can't say it's wrong. But always follow the steps, because this is years, that is part 1, question number 1. But you just think about your semester exams, right, where you have paper 1 and paper 2. So then the marks will be allocated for each and every step. So then it's better to practice with the steps. So then the other one, the again fraction they have given, and you want to convert this into a decimal, right? Earlier what we did, decimal into fraction, now fraction into decimal. But normally if it is the other fraction, you want to divide and find the decimal value. But here you don't want to do that, because this is a very popular fraction, 1/4, or else quarter, then 1/2, or else half, 3/4, or else it is 3/4. So you should know the decimal value of this. I'm just writing this. 1/4, it is 0.25. And if it is 1/2, it should be 0.5. And if it is 3/4, it should be 0.75. So you should have this basic knowledge before the exam. So then the LCM calculation, right? So when you are calculating LCM, that you want to have a good knowledge about the prime numbers and the prime factors. So then the question number 7, it's about the indices. So then the theory they are testing here, 3 to the power 0, whether you know it is 1 or not. So then 1 plus 3, it is 4. Then the last one, which number is bigger? That here you don't want to draw the number line in the exam. I was just showing that how you can compare the numbers with the help of the number line. Okay, children. So then we are done with part 1, question number 1, right? Then I suggest you, if you have not done, I suggest you to complete question number 2, 3, and question number 2, 3. So these 2, 3 you want to try, and you want to write the answers. That I will join with you again with the answers for these 2 questions, question number 2 and 3. Okay, so then that is all for this video, part 1, 2019 October monthly test, part 1, question number 1. In the next video will be part 1, question number 2 and 3, right? So until then, what you can do, you can go through these 10 questions, and I discuss few theory areas which you want to revise. Sometimes they should be in your grade 6 theory book or grade 7 theory book. So then you can revise the theory content related to these questions. Then you can try question number 2 and 3, because I will bring you another video to discuss these 2 questions, question number 2 and 3. Okay, children. So then we'll meet again, right? We'll meet again with the remaining questions in 2019 past paper. So till then, stay safe and do your studies well. You have another around 10 days for your monthly test. And you want to be mindful. After a long time, sometimes all of you will be sitting for a physical examination, right? Sometimes the examination hall will be, that won't be a familiar place for you, because why? That in the last 2 years, most of the time we had the online examination, and it's not that familiar for you. But you want to be ready for that, especially grade 8 students. I'm telling you, after another 10 months time, you are moving to your examination grade. So then don't miss anything, even a single point. You want to revise everything before the exam. Okay, children, see you then. We'll meet again with the remaining questions.